Have you ever noticed that maybe a horse that you've been handling for a while has found that he wants to lead you along and kind of pull you where you want to go? Or on the other extreme, have you ever found that they want to just hang back too much? You know, when we go out to catch them, we sometimes take for granted these horses that are gentle and we've been handling for a little bit, that, you know, they're pretty much going to respond as they always have. But the fact is, if we don't maintain some sharpness in them, they're going to regress and they're going to get heavy. And by heavy, I mean that when you ask them, when you take a little bit of contact with the halter on their face, there's a delay in how sharply and how quickly they move their feet. I don't want them afraid of me, but I need that horse to be leading well enough to where they're responsive. So that's the video you're getting ready to watch, is me helping this young horse here to sharpen his skills a little bit. So I think you'll enjoy it. Thank you. Dennis here at Cappel Training and Shoeing. I thought it would be helpful for you to see. I've noticed in my own horses and a lot of horses that come in for training that they tend to be a little lethargic when you're leading them, and they just don't seem as respectful as you would like for them to be. And that's something that can easily come on when we're around them. The more familiar they become with you, usually the more heavy they get. So this is just going to be something to show you what can be done, and I think once in a while we just need to step up and sharpen our groundwork, get these horses a little more crisp, and then when we like right there, when that horse snaps to attention, you know, and gets comfortable in being attentive instead of being comfortable in being lethargic, then you're going to have a lot better experience with your horse at everything that you do. You know, one thing that I think is see him just drag back there and hang, I'm going to use the fence here to help me. The reason that I'm going to use the fence is because I'm going to bring the energy up more than this horse is probably ready for me to bring up, and the fence is going to help me to keep him from just ducking out and running through that outside boundary. So I'm gonna ask him to move his feet. There's too much delay, so just increase that energy right there. When he got through, you see, instead of being crisp about listening to me, he just kind of pulled and went through there. So I'm gonna stay here with him. I've asked him to move. When he went through, he ran into that boundary. Okay, he found relief when he faced up to me, but I sent him through with more energy. He wasn't thinking anything in the world about anything except just getting away from me. And then when he hit that boundary, then he had the opportunity to listen. So what I'm starting to do is sharpen his response. See right there, he thinks he's got me. He thinks he doesn't have to go forward. So he's going to resist. As soon as his feet started moving, he stepped into release. What I'm going for here is a soft, responsive, sharper move. He's taking me to the outside of the boundary. Each time he comes around, he sees he's coming too far. He's pulling on that outside boundary and not paying attention as he should just yet. There's a better response, so I could soften up. Started to be a better response, but then he walked through. So I'm going to put a little energy right here. I've asked him to move. I want this horse to find out again that if he leads, he does not have to feel that halter. He can be real soft. and he can stay real attentive. If he resists, there's going to be a consequence. Follow it. Still just a little lackadaisical, not quite as sharp as I'd like for him to be, so I'm gonna ask for it. When I tap the ground that time, he put more energy in coming through. See, when he made that turn, he made it heavy on the halter. Much better. Came through there nice and crisp that time. His head was up, he's looking where he's going. When I lifted on that lead rope, he responded. Now he's heavy again. Just keep coming through here until he gets soft like that through each one. Notice that I let him have a moment on the other side of a correction to get comfortable in it. See, if I just keep the correction on and don't let him have these spots of being okay, he's going to stay up and less responsive. I'm going to stop him right here. I'm going to ask him to go forward. Ask him to move his hip. Then I'm going to ask him to move his front end. And he, instead of moving forward, I'm pretty close to the wall, and when I bring that energy up, he's resisting it. There he's in release. When you're seeing me bump with my hand, it's because he didn't respond immediately. When he feels that halter touch, in this case, the right side of his face, it should move his hip. Then when I ask him to come back over, that should move his front end. There he should step straight through there. When I touch the left side of his jaw, should have moved his hip only, but he kept walking. So that's why I kept bumping there, to keep that walk from coming through. I want him to stop. It's important to let him have those moments of standing there doing nothing on the other side of your correction, because right there I didn't ask him to go forward, but I've been trying to sharpen him up, and he took advantage of me looking over there at you and just kind of went through. I let him sit here a minute. Anyway, the point I'm getting at is, if your horse is not responding as soon as you touch them with the lead rope, your follow-up is what needs to be addressed. In other words, if you ask them to move and they act like they didn't understand what you want, don't just settle for it and hope it gets better, because it won't get better. It's going to get worse. So if you address it and get through that, you're going to find that then when you're ready to go somewhere, that horse is there with you better. That horse should come up beside you, and when you stop, that horse should stop. When you step into one, they should step away. This leading ought to be not because of the equipment that you have on them, but because they're paying attention to you. And you see, that's what's happening here now with this colt. He's been handled a good deal, so he ought to be a little sharper than what he is, but I noticed that he was getting a little heavy. So I wanted to show you how I soften them back up, get them to be more attentive, and it'll make the riding experience go better as well. So anyway, I hope you like that, and if you like the content that we put out, I really appreciate you hitting that subscribe button. Thank you.